Hello, everyone. Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd. I hope you're doing well. And it's time for a weekly track round up. That's what we're doing. Going to go over a bunch of tracks that have dropped over the past week or so, and they are all linked down below, so you can check them out for yourself, whether I loved them or hated them or felt somewhere in the middle about. Okay, cool. All right. Also linked down below is our Turntable Lab link. We get kickback from it. If you use it to buy some vinyl, buy some turntable stuff, buy whatever they got over there, as long as you use the link, it helps out the channel. Thank you. Thank you. No, really, truly. Thank you. Also on top of that, we have our Patreon page linked down below. Extra bonus monthly content while supporting the channel too, and YouTube Shorts page for all that good short form content. And I want to shout out a few pieces on the website over here as well that are of interest. One, we have an interesting piece that just went up recently from Jasper Willems, who put this together. Basically a commentary and observation on the way grassroots venues are sort of, basically navigating the difficulties of the social media age, the algorithm age, and so on and so forth. Like how, grassroots scenes are still thriving and existing and functioning in this era. And we also have an interesting piece about the recent revival in Britpop and sort of like, the 90s UK rock era with, all of the Oasis stadium shows and just like kind of renewed interest in that era and that style and that sound and that genre. So there's, kind of an interesting deep dive into that from Victoria on the site as well. So jump in, read those up, check them out, and they're going to be linked down below. All right. Cool. Worst tracks of the week. We have a handful of those. We have a few. They are as follows. Bam. Streets of London, new track from Zach Bryan, who I thought was done with music. I thought he was just like going to go study some in France or something. And he was quitting. He's done, or he was, but I guess not. He's decided he's going to stay, but he's going to drop one of his most underwhelming ballads ever. I mean, pick what you're going to do. Are you going to stick around and make music? And if you're going to do so, is it going to be painfully mid in comparison to everything you dropped up to the point when you said you were going to bow out of music? I don't know. This just feels like some, foot in one place, the other foot's in the other place kind of stuff. Whatever he's going to do, I just hope he commits to it going forward. We also have Lil Yachty, Won't Diss You. This is just drivel. One of his most annoying singles ever in a long time. I just don't really get the appeal or selling point of this. I feel like he's really kind of lost his way in terms of like songwriting capacity or what even his sound is at this point. We also have a single from Machine Gun Kelly's forthcoming Lost Americana album. This track, Vampire Diaries, essentially sounds like a camp rock cut that Demi Lovato would sing. Just basically some Disney-fied pop punk. If that's what you're looking for, it kind of passes that muster at the very least. But if you're looking for more from your rock music, you will be sorely disappointed. And new Drake single, What Did I Miss? If you haven't heard this one, not much, honestly, not much. Just a bunch of crocodile tears about how he feels betrayed by people who just like Kendrick, but also were friends with him after their beef, but whatever. The tracks I was on the fence with, but you might like them more than me. You may like these songs more than me. I'm not saying they're terrible. I'm not saying they're the worst songs in the world. I'm just saying I did not enjoy them as much as some other tracks. And hey, you know what? They might be songs you go crazy for. I still felt like they were worth shouting out. They are as follows. New single from the band Shame, Quiet Life, really bringing back some Smiths and some The Jam vibes on this cut, though I did find the drums to be maybe a little sloppy, but still a lot of energy and passion going into this performance. performance, and Shame does usually bring some good, well-embodied influences to the table. We also have A$AP Rocky, Pray for the Gang, new track with KayCyy on it as well. Probably the spaciest and most dramatic of all of the A$AP singles so far from this album cycle. And yeah, it was okay. It was all right. Maybe not as much punch as, some of the other cuts that have been teasing toward the album so far, but crazy slow album rollout. I'm going to say that one. We need this record, man. We just need this A$AP record to happen for all of our sanity's sake. We also have the Hives, who, I think make some very valid points with this new Legalize Living track, though I do think in terms of guitar work and performance, this is the mildest of all the singles they've done so far. But, still, I like the messaging on this one quite a bit. We also have Foo Fighters, Today's Song, a track that in some respects, it's a bit of a mix. It's got kind of a raw passion to it, like a Foo Fighters song from the early to mid 2000s, but simultaneously, the production and mixing leaves it sounding like a Foo Fighters song that I downloaded off of Kazaa during that same time period. Just kind of sounds like a mangled MP3 or something. I don't get why it sounds so grody, but it is cool that it's sounding at least a little bit more rootsy or rustic than some of the music they've been dropping as of late. We also have Flo teaming up with Kaytranada on this new track over here that, The Mood is the title of it. I thought it was maybe a wee bit underwhelming, but still, with that being said, it is an interesting approach and angle for a track, as it's, essentially about just not being in the mood, just don't want to do it right now. It's about not feeling particularly sexy at this very moment. We're just trying to hang out. We're just trying to relax. So, it's got a cool bumpin', danceable Kaytranada beat. Different angle, different sort of vibe for this kind of topic, which I just thought was kind of interesting, even if like the song didn't blow me away itself. We have also Ethel Cain, Hayden coming through with a new single over here, Fuck Me Eyes, which I thought was kind of underwhelming as a ballad, maybe kind of overdoing it a bit on the runtime, frankly, considering how little it evolves across the entire thing, but I suppose it is what it is. We're really kind of, going back to the sound of the Breakthrough album. So, if you're really kind of looking for that Preacher's Daughter kind of energy, kind of atmosphere, it does seem like we are getting a pretty hearty return to that. We also have a new one from Agriculture, an experimental metal act that I enjoyed their last record quite a bit, especially all kind of the wild, mathy black metal influences coming together. First taste of this upcoming album, and I'm a little split on it. I mean, they're certainly sticking to their experimental guns. I will say that. You do have some fiery noise rock or noise metal passages, I would say, some sort of eerie, skeletal, stripped back vocal bits, some very forlorn guitar passages as well that are super low key and moody. And it's all very jarring, like a lot of very extreme and jarring changes across the entire track. I guess I kind of sat back with it and wondered, like, is all this kind of fitting together to me and feeling cohesive? And it did feel maybe a bit too fragmented. But still, part of me does appreciate the variety of it. And, maybe once I hear the entire album, I'll get a sense of like where all the various sounds and ideas in it are kind of fitting into a greater rubric of who knows how far out into the unknown they're going to go with this record in terms of like genre fusions and different stuff. But, considering how much the last record leaned into black metal, I was surprised to not really catch that as a primary influence on this track, honestly. So it is cool that they're switching it up and trying something else. All right, we have the best tracks of the week, the ones that really floored me. They are as follows. Let's get through them. We have quite a few. Boom! Starting off with Tyler Childers over here. Oneida is the new single on this beautiful little bit of cover art that he has over here. And love this track. It's a great folksy country ballad with stellar vocals and solid songwriting all around. Enjoying this one quite a bit. This one's probably my favorite Tyler Childers song in a minute. It's been a minute since he dropped a single that like really kind of smacked me in the face and grabbed my attention. We have also the second single from the forthcoming Big Thief album, All Night, All Day is the name of the track. And I'm really enjoying this one over the last song, which really kind of felt like they were going back in their more spacey boilerplate indie rock, kind of roots direction. This felt a bit folksier, but still kind of holding true to that for sure. This new album cycle of theirs doesn't seem like it's going to be as massive or gigantic as their last, so it will be interesting to sort of see where they go stylistically and how they kind of whittle things down into a more kind of condensed listen. But yeah, enjoying this one quite a bit more than the last single, I'll say that. Also, shout out to the band Street Sects. Sects. You guys may know them as, kind of the industrial rock and metal outfit, whose last record I reviewed, years ago at this point. But the band is making a pretty grand return, with a new couple of album cycles. I'm guessing, one under their usual Street Sects name, and they're also in tandem with this new single under the name Street Sects. They're dropping a new track under the name Street Sects, which I'm guessing is also going to be not guessing, but is also going to be leading to a new album release under that name as well. Turn Blue is the name of this track. Now, the Spitting Images track under the name Street Sects is, kind of like a more punchy, extreme version of their usual kind of like industrial metal and noise style. And it's thrilling as hell. It's exciting. It's a very interesting and intense listen. I'm loving, hearing that the duo is essentially back in full force, and pretty pumped for that record. But I'm also excited for this Street Sects project because this Turn Blue cut kind of sees the band embracing some industrial vibes once again, but they are working in vocals and beats and grooves that would work much more in the context of like the club on goth night. So, showing some versatility here between Street Sects and Street Sects. I actually think it's like a pretty cool concept and idea to kind of give the fans a project that is a bit groovier, more alluring, more danceable under a totally different project name entirely, and just sort of spoil listeners twice over with two different projects of two very different moods and flavors. I think that's pretty neat and pretty ambitious of them to do. So shout out to them. All right. We also have By Storm, formerly Injury Reserve, coming through with a new track, In My Town. I'm really loving kind of the experimental long form rap ballad fusion hybrid this project has really it's like a sound that I feel like they're just like inventing as they experiment with it. And while some of the results at first were kind of rough around the edges, I feel like it's really coming together on this new track over here. Richie gives a great vocal performance. I feel like the instrumental and the progression of the track is much more engaging than some other cuts going in this direction that felt maybe a bit too touch and go, a bit too boundaryless and abstract to really kind of like grasp a hold of. The focus and progression of this song I feel like is a lot more easy to lock into, and I'm just looking forward to seeing their sound get even bolder going into this direction that I feel like no other group, duo, or single artist is out there kind of like experimenting with right now. All right, we have Ski Mask the Slump God, who is hitting us with the sequel to Catch Me Outside 2 all these years later. It's a fucking bop. It's a banger. He's pretty much given us that old Ski Mask for the most part, though I wouldn't say, vocally he's quite as speedy or as eccentric as he was on that original track as far as his delivery and flow. But, he's checking the usual Ski Mask, the Slump God boxes, and reminding us of, how long he's been here and how he can, still rap his ass off like he used to when he originally broke onto the scene. We have also over here a music project that I'm getting hip to, Racing Mount Pleasant, Your New Place. I guess these guys changed their name recently, or kind of like going forward with this new name here. They have this Your New Place single out, and you know, if you're really into that linear spoken word sort of art rock that Black Country New Road used to be sort of known for before they, you know, had their big lineup change, I feel like you're going to get a lot out of this. I was really impressed by the instrumentation. There are some points where I was wanting more from the vocals, but even as it currently is, it's still a pretty exciting track. And, you know, it's cool to hear a new, not a new, but, you know, kind of a band that's undergone, you know, some style changes. And obviously, again, you know, the name change. Let me remind myself right here, because my brain is racing. This is not professional. Mount Pleasant. This is not professional at all. This is like the least professional thing ever I've ever done in one of these videos, aside from burp and fart all over the place. Kingfisher is the former name of the band. But yeah, you know, they've been around for a while, but they're sort of like undergoing this change, bringing us a new cycle, bringing us some new tracks, new album on the way, reinvigorated sort of art rock style with some chamber pop elements, post-rock elements, sounding super epic, over the top, dramatic vocals. Again, if you're a Black Country New Road person, old school Black Country New Road person, I feel like there's going to be a lot here in this track, in this new single, which has multiple songs linked to it. There's going to be a lot in this single for you. Okay, we have Princess Nokia, who's hitting us with this interesting Drop Dead Gorgeous track. It's been a while since we've had like a nice new formal Princess Nokia single. It's been a minute since, you know, a proper album too. And on this track, we see Nokia experimenting with a slightly different sound, like some EDM beats, some very kind of low key, almost spoken word type rap vocals, and it's chill, it's groovy, it's fun, it's playful. You know, it's a ballsy little cut that I think is a lot of fun, and you know, hopefully leads to more new material soon around the corner. Fingers crossed. We also have freaking Maruja over here, whose name I've recently learned is Maruja. It's not Maruja. I've been saying it Maruja this entire time. I mean, it is a Spanish word. Give me a damn break. But yeah, apparently I'm supposed to be saying this as Maruja. Their new single over here, Saoirse, is not the most sort of like over the top or fiery track they've put out so far. For their forthcoming album, they have dropped a few singles, but I could see this track being like a really kind of beautiful, moving transition point that brings us from one song to another in the midst of the track list. The segues sort of at the start and at the end sort of seem to be like very quick, like it's coming from and leading into something. It should be a really amazing album that these guys drop. If you're looking for some, again, you know, heavy on the spoken word, art punk with some ambitious instrumentation, a lot of fire, a lot of passion, you got to be paying attention to these guys. I think they're one of the most interesting groups out there right now. They're doing it. They're doing it like heck. All right, we have Joey Valence and Brae, who are also dropping a new record, really striking while the iron is hot, following up their record last year with the record HYPERYOUTH this year. We have the title track, and yeah, I mean, it kind of lives up to its title in terms of it, you know, just being like some very hype old school hip hop with a, you know, big kind of let me clear my throat type vibe. But, you know, some new punchy bells and whistles and that kind of classic established shouty, ballsy, high adrenaline, Joey Valence and Brae sort of vibe and momentum that you've come to know and love. All right, we have Jid and Eminem teaming up on this Animals Part 1 track. Both of these guys are rapping their asses off for like almost 6 minutes, and it's fucking killer. Even the Eminem bits of the track are very funny and entertaining. The various flow switches Jid throws out there on the track are crazy. Just loving that they really brought out the best in each other on this song. And, this track is attached to a whole, sort of Prelux, quote unquote, EP that's kind of teasing toward the new JID album. So there's actually more where this came from, other great tracks on that little EP too. So go listen to the rest of it. We also have this new track from Danny L. Harle with PinkPantheress in the mix. The vocals are solid, and I'm liking hearing Pink over just some harder techno type beats on this track. It's a really cool combo. It matches, or rather, mismatches with her very gentle, easygoing vocals in a really interesting way. I'm liking the direction that this track goes in quite a bit, and hopefully maybe we'll hear PinkPantheress on some punchier instrumentals in the future. I guess we'll just have to see. All right, we also have Geese coming through with their first single for their forthcoming album. Taxes is the name of the track, and loving the hell out of this track too. I mean, once again, the band has just found ways to make these old school hard rock sort of vibes and flavors sound new and exciting and passionate. And I'm just loving the slow buildup of this track and just that burst of bright, wonderful guitar arpeggios around the midpoint of the track. It just brings things to such an epic finish. A few bands out there are doing it like Geese right now. I'll leave it right there. We have a couple more. Digging on this new Frost Children track, really kind of bringing back that crazy MySpace era electro pop and electro clash, sounding amazing on this new track. Honestly, I mean, if that's not your era, I sort of get it, but as somebody who kind of appreciates that sound, they're doing it so much justice, and Falling is the name of the track. It kicks absolute ass in my opinion. We also have Deftones hitting us with a new single. And the title of the track is My Mind is a Mountain, and it's very brief. I mean, short-ish for Deftones. A very brief, straightforward, to the point cut. It's the opening track from their forthcoming album, and it's the most ferocious, biting, legitimately raw single the band has released in years. Kicks actual fucking ass. Even Chino sounds like mad as hell on the cut. The guitars are nasty, man. Even during some of the cleaner, those kind of blissful, stereotypical sort of Deftones passages that you kind of come to expect. I mean, they are in there a little bit, but even those passages sound like real nasty. In comparison, or I mean, relatively is what I want to say. So good on them. And finally, shout out to Anna Frango Elétrico, Brazil Zone, coming through with a brand new single. Excited to hear a new project from that project for sure. And it's just like a killer combination of various shades of Brazilian music and disco and funk. It's very glamorous, it's very smooth, it's very groovy, it's very pristine and well put together. This new single is for sure classy as hell and endlessly danceable, and I'm loving the hell out of it. So that is going to be it for this weekly track roundup, everybody. Thank you very much for watching. You're the best. Over here next time I had another video that you can check out. Hit that up or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, weekly track roundup, music recommendation forever.